Right then guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex and today you're joining me at King's Golf in East Grinstead, one of the best golf venues in the UK, and I'm reviewing the last Mizuno Pro iron out of the trifecta. I've already reviewed the Pro 221 and 223. Today it's time for the Pro 225. Perhaps the most anticipated out of the three, and there's a few reasons behind that. The 225, if we go back to its previous iteration, was the MP-20 HMB, a set that, albeit it was good, received some criticism because of the way it looked. Particularly in those short irons, they were not really compact, they were quite chunky, and for a set like Mizuno, which is supposed to be rather traditional, it didn't really tick the box. But the Pro 225s, well, Mizuno have listened. If we're talking about the aesthetics to begin with, we all know that it has the Mizuno Pro scripting now, if they've gone old school, and mixed opinions on that on social media, but I think it looks pretty cool. But these are now a blade from every angle, Mizuno say. These are now a very compact club, a lot smaller in comparison to the MP-20 HMBs, and just a lot more pleasing to look at. I've got the 6-iron and the pitching wedge with me today. I guess you guys are probably more interested in that pitching wedge, and you can see a lot more compact, a lot less offensive to look at, and it's going to be very confidence inspiring. In terms of technology, it's got that copper underlay. The most important thing for me is that increased tungsten weighting between the 2 and the 7-iron. This is to improve long and mid-iron launch, and it is a heavier 28.5 tungsten weight, and that is placed optimally low and deep for improved long and mid-iron. So we're going to get a really nice set here, and if I have to compare it to any other set, kind of like the TaylorMade P790s, because the lofts are fairly similar. I'll put on the screen for you now. So you can see some strong lofts, some distance-inspiring lofts, but in a blade-type club. So let's hit a few shots now. I'm gonna hit the 6-iron, and I may hit the pitching wedge as well, just to see what it feels like, but I think I'm gonna get some pretty decent numbers with this, and it's gonna feel pretty special. Let's jump over to Trackman. So in all honesty, I think this is gonna feel largely very similar to the 223s. The technology is largely the same. But with that kind of HMB look, it's going to be more forgiving and will probably just get me some tighter dispersion, I would hope. I think the HMB will be a really good club for those combo sets, really, really good club for those longer irons. As Mizuno have said, they've really optimized that launch, so it should get an absolute rocket ship for those 4 to 6 irons. And then maybe when you're going into those shorter irons, look towards the 221 because you don't need as much offset. It is a stunning club looking down at it at address. It really is good. Not too much difference to the 223s, which is a really good thing because they're not too ginormous. And for a traditional club that looks so classical, to still get what hopefully is some very good performance, like those kind of big players, like the TaylorMades, things like that, it's going to attract a lot of golfers. It's a good start. Funny thing is, that one was a bit out of the toe. You get a smash factor at 1.41, but to go dead straight, and to even have a toe shot that goes dead straight, I've never said that before. Oh yeah, that's a good one. A little pushy, but I ain't complaining. Tell you what, I think that's the furthest a 6-iron's gone for me today. Look at those numbers there, 222 carry. Okay, let's go have a look at those numbers. Okay, so I actually hit a few more shots there just after the camera stopped rolling because I was kind of getting into a motion and thinking these are actually feeling very, very stable just to hit the same shot over and over and over. So I ended up hitting about, how many was it? About 15 or so shots there. And that may be one of the best irons I've hit this year in terms of an all-around package. Okay, so if you look at that ball speed there, it's interesting because you can see it started climbing up alongside my club speed when kind of subconsciously I got a lot more comfortable with the iron profile and shaft setup, but very, very, very consistent. I can say that as many times as you want. The worst of the bunch was the first shot, and if I show you it and show you the impact position there, it's just a little bit high on the face and toey. It's the one that I said to begin with that was a shot that maybe shouldn't have actually gone straight, but it did. And then just from then onwards, just the consistency of all of these shots makes it a club that I'm struggling to think, why would I not have this in the bag? If you look at the carry, it's very, very strong. Now, I've hit P790s, things like that, and they do go around a similar yardage, I'll be honest. All of these players' irons with the similar lofts are going around the same yardage, but when it comes down to what's the difference between this one and that one, it's always going to be down to that feel and that consistency. I didn't actually want to stop hitting this 6-iron because the feel that you get off it when you hit it out of the middle, it's really, really difficult for any brand to get that. Get what Mizuno have. And when you're looking at the actual data behind how it feels, the consistency with that, I'm really struggling to put into words any criticism that I've got so far for this, because for a club that needed to improve, it has done, and then some. So if we can just look at those numbers a little bit more before I hit some more, you can see the smash factor very consistent, height very good, launch angle very good, spin a little low, and that is because of those stronger lofts. But then if we're looking at the dispersion, I haven't looked at this, could be awful. It's not, okay, so for the funny thing there is, if we're looking at then the swing direction, I'm swinging it left. I kind of decided right at the start of that I should start playing a fade with these irons, and it then led to very consistent results. So these were the ones to begin with at the start of the session, and these were all the ones at the end. So they went a long way, and again, I'm not a tall player, I never will be. I don't have a robotic swing, probably won't ever have that ever. So looking at these results here, for a low handicap player, single figure player, I would take all of those. If I'm 220 yards, 210 yards away from the pin, if I'm hitting all of those, happy days. So happy. I think a lot of people, maybe even tall players, will probably be happy with that as well. So for those mid to long irons, I'm thinking the Mizuno 225s are the best of the bunch here for anyone, even if you're off scratch. And if you're looking at the 225s, because of the profile of them now, because they're not offensive to look at, I don't know why anyone would put the 221s in play for the long irons over the 225s, because for me, I can't really see why you do that, because you've still got a club that looks great, feels great, and you have that added forgiveness. The question is, how does the pitching wedge look? So let's hit some of those now. Let's go off this, go back to Trackman, and hit some balls and see how it feels. These shorter irons are the clubs that I guess have gained the most interest because of how poorly they were in those HMBs. Again, being very critical, they weren't that bad, but there was a lot of criticism from them online. And now, looking at this pitching wedge, a club that would be the one with the most offset, and I guess the higher the club, the more it's going to be oval shaped, the less attractive it will look. This is fine. Very similar to actually my P770s for those short irons, which is a very players club. These have slightly stronger lofts. So it's similar to all of the pro range. They're a very nice club to look at. So they've really, really improved the aesthetics of these 225s here. That's a good start, isn't it? A little left, that one, yeah, we're gonna notice a bit of a trend, I think. Slightly low on spin, I think that could be down to the shaft rather than the head itself, so something to note there. That one was hit out the toe, so I think that's going to low left as well. Pretty much identical to the last one, but the smash falling down a bit, that ball speed falling down too. Just a little bit poor. That one, again, not the best strike. But are we going to complain about it going more or less the exact same distance as the other ones? Not at all, it's just slightly low on the face. Another good one. I can't say I'm too unhappy with those shots there. I think they were actually really consistent. Just the difference there was where I was striking it out of the club face. But in terms of dispersion, I think they should be pretty bang on. Let's have a look. Okay, so last little look at these numbers here. I think the difference we'll find will be in that kind of total distance. Going from 150 to 158, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. Spin, the variance there will be down to my strike pattern. If we have a look at, let's say, the worst one there, which I think was this one, and just have a look at the impact position, it was a little bit on the toe and a little bit high in the foot. Not really ideal there. And then if we go back and let's say see another one, I can't remember which one was the worst one here. I think it was, actually, it could have been this one that was a bit low on the face. Yeah, it was a little bit low on the face. That one came out a little bit strange, but overall, if we're looking at those numbers, I think we'd all be pretty happy with that. Trying to swing left a little bit more, which you can see by the swing direction, but they're all very consistent numbers. Now I've gone on dispersion. Yeah, again, that's pretty solid. I'd take any of those shots. If you're thinking of a green position, they'd all probably be on the green from about 150 yards or so. I do prefer the feel in the 6-iron in comparison to the pitching wedge. I think when you're looking at those short irons, if you are a low handicap player, it's when you would probably push towards the 223s and 221s maybe. Again, me not striking it very well with those balls there, maybe means I shouldn't do that, but in my head I prefer a club that is a more scoreable, and they will be the 221s and 223. Just my opinion. Let's give our final thoughts. So guys, that brings me to the end of the video reviewing the brand new Mizuno Pro 225. I'm sure if you have seen some other reviews, you've seen pretty much all of us are very excited by this range, the improvements that they've made, and the fact that now these Pro 225s really are competitors with other brands. A club like Mizuno, who produce such traditional golf clubs, those classical looks that really cannot be topped, when you're comparing it to others, with this 225 now, it is quite a bit of a game changer. The question that I'd ask myself, and I guess I'd ask you guys, is if you are looking at the 225 or any of the Mizuno Pro range, why are you not making it into a combo set? Because I'm pretty sure, actually in fact, I'm confident that that's what Mizuno want you guys to do. With the 221, 223 and 225, you really can make them into a combo set. My personal opinion is if I were to get a set is I'd get the 225s and the 221s. So I'd probably get the 225 from, let's say, 4 to 8 iron, 4 to 7 iron, and then get the 8 to pitching wedge in the 221s. And I'd weaken the lofts of the 225 slightly to match up with the 221s. That means you have kind of a double whammy here of the unbelievable feel that you have of the 221s, that butter-like, smooth, stable performance in the short irons. And then in the 225s, in your long to mid irons, you have that optimal launch that they've changed this year, and also just a really nice looking club with a little bit more forgiveness. We're not tour players, we don't need blades from 4 to pitching wedge. I know that, you guys know that, so you don't need a club that's absolutely butter knife thin for those 4 irons, unless you hit it out the middle every single time. I don't think anyone watching this video does. There are tons more comparisons we can and will do with the Mizuno Pro range, from the 221 to 225, comparing it against all sorts. I know you guys have been pretty vocal in the comments on the 223s and 221s. If you guys haven't seen those videos, be sure to go check it out on our channel. But if you want to see any more comparisons, let me know down in the comments and I'll get them in for you for 2022. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video today. If you have, leave a like down below. And if you guys are new to GolfMagic, hit the subscribe button too, because for 2022, we've got a lot of really exciting things coming. And until then, I'll see you guys at the next video.